All right. Hey, welcome all of our real estate professionals here today. We're excited to have you on this Zoom meeting. My name is Brian Carruthers here in my home office in Leesburg, Virginia. And today I'm so pumped. I've got a background, by the way, in real estate my entire life. I grew up in a real estate family. My parents built a large 35 office real estate company on the East Coast back in the 70s, sold it to Merrill Lynch in 81 after our 5-year non-compete ran out. They opened up the doors to a new company expecting that maybe my brother and I would get out of college and want to jump into the business with them, which we did. So all through my 20s, I was out there grinding hard 7 days a week in my real estate career, and I was enjoying it. I had success, um, and I found myself in a situation where I was introduced to a side project by another realtor who I was trying to recruit in an interview in my new office in Rockville, Maryland. And what he shared with me that day, something he was offering as value add to his clients and friends, I immediately saw, oh my gosh, I want to do the same thing. And I got started with this business project as well. And it turned into be an absolute home run. Matter of fact, I started making more money with my side project than I was in my full-time real estate careers, which was amazing. But today we're going to be sharing with you guys a side project that does absolutely fit hand in hand with what we do in the real estate profession, or maybe you're a mortgage professional, maybe you're a financial planner that snuck onto the Zoom, which welcome. That's great to have you here. But this is an amazing value add to your clients. And I will also say that NAR, National Association of Realtors, years ago endorsed this service. They saw so much need for not only agents to have this, but it was also a smart idea to offer to clients. And so, with that, NAR's not endorsing it anymore because they wanted a kickback from every single customer that signed up for this. And we didn't need the endorsement. People were signing up anyway. But look, this injects the missing form of income. Years ago, I was introduced to somebody who became a very important mentor in my life. He was actually a billionaire, and he always taught that there's three forms of income. You got linear income, getting paid on what you do, which is what we're used to. You sell a house, you get paid. You sell a house, you get paid. You don't sell a house, you don't get paid. And so linear income is getting paid on what you do. And then you've got leveraged income getting paid on what other people do. And I was also familiar with that, which I'm sure you are as well. Whether or not you're a broker, you know how it works. Brokers recruit other agents. When the agents sell a house, the broker gets a little piece. So leveraged income is a little bit better than linear because you're getting paid even though you're not doing the work. But then the holy grail, the third form of income, is residual income. And that's basically where you do something one time, yet you get paid over and over and over again for what you did once. And in that interview years ago, when that agent told me about this, he basically pointed out that we only got paid as real estate professionals upon a deal closing, and we're unemployed until the next deal closes. And I'm like, I never thought about being unemployed, but I get what you're saying. And he said, Brian, do you have residual income? He said, do you know what residual income is? I said, of course. He said, do you have any? I said, no. He said, Brian, you don't get it. You don't know what it is. If you did, you go through a brick wall in order to get some. I said, please explain. And he said, you know how an insurance agent sells an insurance policy and they get a nice big commission right away? But then every year the policy automatically renews. They get automatic renewal income without having to talk to the client each time. I said, yeah, I know how that works. He said, that's how this works. That's why I'm excited to be sharing this with people. Not only is it a great value add, but we get paid that residual income. And so what you're about to hear is amazing for all of us as real estate professionals because we now can get all three forms of income. And also, let me just point out that this transcends the real estate sandbox that we all play in. We're in a box. We do one thing. We work with people buying and selling real estate property. And so here's how I like to put it. If you walked into a room of 100 people, maybe two or three are ready to buy or sell a house. And maybe you could try to convince them to use you, but they probably already have a realtor. Maybe five of them have a real estate license that if you're in the mode of trying to build a real estate team, maybe you could try to recruit them. But what do you do with the other 95 people in that room? How do you add value to their lives? How do you monetize them? Well, now with this in your back pocket, you're now going to be able to add value to 100% of the people in that room. Matter of fact, with this service, less than 3% market penetration. That means 97 out of 100 people that you know or come across, they need to hear from you about what this service does for them. And also, again, who would not want a stream of residual income? So any room you walk into. This, again, is not just for your real estate clients or your real estate contacts. This is for everybody that you know. And so I'm really excited right now because I've got two of my great friends on this Zoom with us here today. And they both come from a successful real estate background. And they also got, like me, got involved in this project part-time on the side. And they're going to share with you a little bit of their insights on, what they saw, why they got involved with this project, and how it's turned out for them in such a positive, amazing way. So, first person I want to go out to is down in North Carolina, Miss Jennifer McClafferty. And Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind sharing with everybody kind of how you got started.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Thank you so much. So basically, I got started on this side project. It was 2009, and we were right in the middle of the Great Recession. So I started having clients every single day asking me legal questions. Do I short sell? Do I low mod? Will my HOA let me rent out my home in my neighborhood? And of course, being a fiduciary, not having a law degree, right? The Real Estate Commission says I'm not supposed to answer those questions. So I reached out, started asking real estate attorneys to help my clients. And to be honest with you, Brian, they really didn't want to. They just wanted to continue to push a closing package, even though they were far and few between at that time. Luckily for me, a golf professional walked into my real estate office, very similar to your story, Brian, wanting to share this incredible service with me. I immediately bought the product. I immediately used the product, fell in love with it, and realized that I could help so many of my real estate clients. And that's exactly what I did. I started sharing the service not only with my current buyers, but my current sellers that were on the market. And then, of course, it just made sense to start reaching out to my past clients as well, right? We know that 52% of all Americans have an ongoing legal question or an ongoing legal matter. So that's exactly what I did. And now, fast forward all these years later, the legal questions may be different, but the service and the product is still just as relevant. And to be honest with you, I'm even more excited today than what I was back then, just like you said, due to that significant income that is now snowballed and has exceeded my real estate income, but more importantly, has created that residual income that we talked about, right? That I know I'm going to be paid on for the rest of my life, which is absolutely amazing. So I'll turn it back over to you, Brian.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I know we'll come back to you in a little bit because we want to hear some stories of how you actually took this to your clients, so that everybody sees a clear path on how they will be able to do the same thing you've done. So let's now go out to another one of my esteemed friends who is down in Florida, Miss Kelly Rowe, who is very successful in her real estate practice and now also very successful here with this project with Legal Shield.
Thanks so much, Brian, and excited to be here with you and Jennifer. Yeah, so my background, I actually went in the Air Force right after high school, went to college afterwards. And when I moved back to Florida, actually one of my best friends was in real estate. And so thought it would be something temporary. I'm sure many of you too. And then it ended up turning into a longer career. But I'm excited because it was actually one of my real estate clients. I became a happy customer. She told me about the plan. We drive around a lot, right? I thought, oh, the ticket part and just having access. And what happened, gosh, probably 30, 60 days later, was I was the buyer's agent. They flew in from Colorado. I think many of us have been in that position. I thought I had this great deal, just fell out of the sky kind of thing. And we found a house and then they flew back home. So I was doing everything, and that included getting the inspections done. And the roof inspection, the first one came back a little iffy. They wanted a second inspection. And after that, because they couldn't look at it themselves, they said they wanted out of the deal. We hate when that happens, right? All of a sudden it just evaporated, this gift. But it got worse because when I reached out to the seller and, in writing, but she said I didn't do it properly. And she was going to keep their $4,000 deposit, which many of you know that was coming out of our pocket, most likely, right? So I said, wait, I have this legal thing. And when I contacted, you'll see a little bit more about what the services do. But hearing that I was in the right, Felt really great to call my clients back in Colorado. Long story short, we did not lose that $4,000. And I just thought, wow, everybody I know needs this. Like all my clients need this. My two older brothers own businesses. I said they need this. So that's really what happened is I just, like we talked about today, just adding it, added value to my clients. Ran into somebody though, Brian, that wanted to offer this to their 600 employees, which, that's just kind of a division that we have. Wrote 200 plans, had a $20,000 payday, and I said, oh, maybe I need to go a little bit more than part-time with this project, but it's just been phenomenal. And that was back, gosh, many, many years ago, Jen, just a couple years even before you. And just like you, I mean, still excited today, because everything is just as real, just as needed, if not more today. And so I'm just excited to still be on this project, especially with great colleagues like you guys.
Awesome. So, Kelly, would you mind go ahead and sharing with everybody a little bit about the services that we're offering to everybody?
Absolutely. Can you see these slides okay?
We can.
All right, let me pull it up. Sorry, guys. Let me pull it up to. So, again, we're not going to do a real deep dive, but we just want you to understand the power and why we're, so excited about this and why so many of our clients, it's just an easy transition. Again, and Jennifer alluded to it. I mean, this can be before, during, after the sale. It's up to you. You're their professional and whatever works. But let's think about what our clients are going through, right? They're a new homeowner, the condo owner, whatever they're buying. So we know without a doubt there's a lot of contracts that happen again right as the deal was going on and just continued. And so if you have a relationship and you don't want to bring in the plan for those contracts, that's great. But just know that this service right there at the beginning of the deal could be a huge value. And then what happens if there's tenant disputes? Maybe because we talk about home ownership, but we also know that you're helping some of the professionals out there are helping get into rental agreements. So again, those contracts need to be looked at. Again, the landlord's not fixing something, there's some kind of dispute there. What about that homeowner that knew they were buying the house and maybe there's some things that they're going to work on? They're going to have contractors. It definitely puts those contractors on notice when they say, hey, this contract looks great. Let me have my attorney review it, right? Just being proactive, being preventative, get treated a lot better no matter, who you're dealing with. Maybe it's getting windows replaced. I know a couple years ago, I had a client at one of the universities that I represent, and they, redid all their windows. And of course, things started leaking not too long after. And they called the company back, got them on the phone the first time, but then trying to get them back on the phone, reached out, asked if that was something our services could help with. Absolutely did. Obviously, when you get an attorney involved, things are changed. They got those windows fixed. Homeowners insurance claims, we all talk about we're all from all over different parts of the country, but Florida, we're known for our storms. There's a lot of other storms that happen all around the country. What do we do when our homeowners insurance doesn't want to do what we think they should do? When there's some kind of dispute there, who do we call? That's where our plans can help. Warranty issues, somebody doesn't honor a warranty. What do we do, right? We get frustrated. We Google it. We get stressed out. Now you don't have to do that. So again, just trying to show you some examples, of where as a homeowner, it's just such a no-brainer. And then something that's so important is just getting our estate planning done. We know that probably 70-80% of families don't have them done anyway, but now that they own something new, that's where we know absolutely they need to update their wills, with this new property, right? Make sure it transfers properly. But who's going to spend, so they just spend a lot of money having that extra $1,000, $2,000 to get that done. It's very, difficult for those families. So now we have a solution. So I highlighted the plan a little bit based on, some of those stories, but this is exactly what we get, that unlimited consultation without worrying about getting a bill, right? It's not that we don't have these legal situations, but I think we'd all agree, at $300-400 an hour, it becomes that financial decision. We're kind of priced out of the legal system. And so now those unlimited questions, for personal issues, I mentioned the contracts. Look at this, unlimited up to 25 pages each. powerful no matter what we're going to sign, right? Even, buying a car, joining a gym, putting the kids in private school, other things that aren't just real estate related, but things that are a part of our everyday life. What if we need that extra muscle, right? We need that attorney to take some action on our behalf. That's those letters and phone calls made on our behalf. Again, helping with those homeowner claims, helping with warranty issues. That's where the attorneys can help us. Online notary, we get 5 per year. And then those estate planning, right? Instead of paying, thousands of dollars, our wills, living wills, healthcare, financial power of attorney done at no additional cost for all the covered family members. Real estate loan documents. This is where we're saying at the beginning of the deal, you can help your client save money. Other things, again, that aren't real estate related, we got our traffic ticket assistance. We have trial defense, right? Our Sue savings account. Audit protection. I know, we're realtors running our own business, knowing that we have those tax professionals in our corner. The 24/7. Hey, how many of us are showing properties, late in the evening, on the weekends, just knowing that for emergency situations, we can get our attorney on the phone 24/7. Very powerful. 25% member discount, nothing excluded from our plan. If it isn't covered at 100%, we've got that discount there. Family, domestic services. Right. And think about, as I'm going through these, think about the fact that you know your client. We all know our client more than anybody. We know why they're moving. Maybe they are getting separated. Maybe they're moving to a bigger place because they just adopted a new child or they're looking to adopt. All these things that we know about our client, a little bit about what they do for a living. Maybe they do run a home business. We have an add-on for that. Maybe they are, a gun owner. We have a supplement for that. Maybe they do rideshare. They're in a more litigious job where they need more trial defense. All these things, we can build that bridge and help our client because we know about them, right? And how many deals have we stepped into and then there was identity theft? Because, right? Jennifer ran the mortgage company. All of a sudden, everything's going along smoothly, and we find out they're a victim. What do? Right? We have to send them somewhere to get this fixed. We have one of the best, right? I know a lot of us are going to say that. You see, we won the Excellence Award again in 2024. I know it's the beginning here, we're going to keep winning those awards, right? Because we keep up with what's going on and we keep our plan getting better and better. We monitor more on the front end, but we do the full restoration. What does that mean? We just help clients fix it, right? And why is that so important for us? Because now the deal can continue, right? And you see these rates, I mean, the $37.95 for our legal plan, little more than $1 a day. Our identity theft prices, we do more and we're so competitive to what your clients are paying now. So you can really, again, be that trusted advisor and bring something that your clients, we're going to end up being the hero to them. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Brian. I'm going to stop my share.
Awesome.
Turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, every time I ever watch anybody explain the ins and outs of the Legal Shield, Naughty Shield, I'm like, I'm so glad I have it. And if I was seeing it for the first time, I mean, I want to sign up all over again. And you'll hear from me in a little bit about, ways that I've used it and so forth. But let's go back out to Jennifer so she can share some of her applications on how this has really benefited the people that she has served.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Kelly. Same way, Brian. I'm ready to sign up for the plan again. Phenomenal stuff. It's so many different reasons of why I found clients that again needed the plan. And as I shared before, it just was something that I saw in the very beginning that I could add it at the point of buyer agency. So at the point that we're going over contracts, it's really easy to ask, hey, do you have an attorney? Do you have a title company? And if they're, obviously the client says, no, I don't have that relationship. By the way, I'm offering Legal Shield now to all of my clients on the side. This gives you access to top rated law firms. So not only can they help you with the real estate closing, but if a question arises during that transaction that I'm not able to answer, then obviously your top rated attorney is going to be able to help you right away. Plus, they're easily accessible. As Kelly said, for less than $38 a month, it's just a no-brainer for folks, right? From a seller standpoint, it just always made sense to me at listing appointment. The point that I knew that I had the listing to say, hey, by the way, I'm offering Legal Shield to all of my clients. As a seller, let's be honest, the minute that the lockbox goes on your door, you're vulnerable, right? Someone walks in your home, they slip out by the pool, they fall in through the attic, right? You're at risk of being sued. Also, right now, capital gains are the largest that we've seen, right? We're having folks that are selling homes that they may have paid $30,000, $40,000 for back in 1970. They're selling these homes now for $1, $2 million. So do you think your clients have tax questions? You better believe it. Why not offer Legal Shield where they're able to pick up the phone, speak directly to that expert attorney, and get that help that they need? As Kelly said, you'll definitely be the hero to your client. Brian mentioned earlier, what about the other 95 people in the room that you may not have a relationship with? That's what I love about this service. Once I shared the service with a client, they enroll, I immediately start asking them for referrals. As real estate professionals, we love referrals. It works the same way with this project. It's amazing how many people will send you their friends, their family members that also need to be empowered with this service. Not only are you able to help them and create that income, but now they're part of your real estate network. We all know that we can refer clients anywhere in the country and still collect a commission. So you're able to additionally grow that network base. Sharing the service is super easy. Not only can you just have a quick little conversation and get your clients enrolled, but we also have an amazing app called Prospect. And you can literally just send a video, send information directly to your clients. I did that for 22 months. My daughter was diagnosed with brain cancer. I live in North Carolina, but we were up in Boston, Massachusetts for treatment. And I was able to continue to service and empower my clients from ICU, from hotel lobbies. It literally takes just a few seconds to reach out to your client, share a simple script, open up your Prospect app, and not only are you sending that information, but they're also able to go ahead and enroll right then, and you're able to get that notification. I will tell you that yes, I feel like I'm winning by creating this additional source of income. But the truth is, I'm mission driven, and I know that my clients are also winning, right? They're able to be empowered by the best law firms in the country, get easy access, call directly on the phone app, or even schedule the consult. And Kelly talked about identity theft. I don't know how many of you, as real estate professionals, have been in a contract where maybe it wasn't identity theft, but a lien or a judgment or something popped up that no one knew nothing about. That again is how you're able to be proactive with this service. How awesome is it that in the very beginning you know that there's an issue that needs to be addressed versus 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days later, right? When we're getting closer to the closing table. That way you're able to go ahead and help your clients get ahead of it and hold more deals to the table. And I really think that's what this is all about, right? Empowering your client, but also empowering your business. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Brian. Thank you again for allowing me to share.
Oh my gosh, so great. Thank you so much, Kelly and Jennifer, for all that you shared. And I'm sure everybody's kind of excited about what they're hearing, not only from a personal use, but a value add to their clients. And again, let me take you back in time. When I first heard about this from that other real estate agent I was trying to recruit, I couldn't unhear what I heard. I saw the value in the service. I signed up on the spot. When he told me about the upfront money, but also the residual income, which I didn't have, I couldn't not do it. And so, and that's what happened. I got started up part-time. It's kind of funny because my brother, my parents, who I was in real estate with, they were like, "Why are you wasting your time with that side thing?" I'm like, "You just don't understand." And so as I started sharing with people, I started getting stories back. Let me share with you one story. So I've got a friend of mine who's a realtor here in Northern Virginia. He went into a listing appointment, and as he's doing a house tour with the owner, she takes him in a room and says, "Hey, what do you think I should do about this ceiling? Because you can see all the damage from a leak." He said, "Yes, we absolutely got to get that fixed before we put the house on the market." She said, "Do you have a contractor that will do a good job for a good price?" He said, "Well, you shouldn't be paying for that. Your insurance will cover that." She goes, "No, my insurance company denied it. They won't cover." He said, "Well, that's not fair." She says, "Tell me about it." He said, "You need an attorney then. Call an attorney to get them involved." She says, "That's just as expensive as me paying for the repair myself." He said, "Well, not if you've got Legal Shield." She says, "What's that?" And he pulls out his phone, shows her the app, and explains it. She goes, "Oh my gosh, why would anybody not get a service like that?" He said, "Exactly." She says, "Here's my phone. Can you sign me up for that?" So he does, gives her the phone back to her. They finish the house tour. They go down to the kitchen, and she signs the listing. A few weeks go by, and she calls him up and she says, "Hey, I need to talk to you because you hooked me up with that law firm. I need to tell you what happened." He said, "What happened?" She said, "Well, I gave them the information they asked for. They contacted the insurance company and put the screws to them. And I don't know if you can hear the banging in the background right now, but the insurance company is paying for the contractors. They're here right now fixing the ceiling." She said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. You saved the day." He saved her thousands of dollars. So he was a hero in that regard. But also is amazing is that he also has a happy Legal Shield customer that he's going to get paid not only the commission he got up front, but residually month after month, year after year. And she was moving out of town, out of state. He was never going to get real estate business from her ever again because he doesn't practice real estate where she's moving to. But he's got a Legal Shield client that he's going to get residuals on. So it's just a win-win. Look, this is also, as real estate agents, your goal is to always be building up a referral base, right? Where are you going to get your next real estate customers from? This is a built-in referral base, kind of like BNI. When you're a part of this Legal Shield family, you're going to be around a whole lot. I mean, hundreds and in cases, thousands of other Legal Shield folks that you're now going to have access to. Where when they're ready to buy or sell a house, guess what? You're part of their family now. I'll give you an example of that. I've right here in Virginia, in my neighborhood. I live in a really nice neighborhood, and one of our associates in Legal Shield met another associate who was ready to downsize and move into a smaller home. They had over $1 million home that they needed to put on the market. Who did they choose? Their fellow Legal Shield associate. So it's amazing for being additive to your real estate practice. Something else I want to mention to you guys. This service is amazing for investors, real estate investors, landlords. Matter of fact, I'll give you some of these examples. We've got some collateral material that you'll be able to use that you can share with your real estate investors. Here's some of the ways that they'll be able to use it: getting your will done or power of attorney. Or getting it updated, reviewing ancillary contracts for warranties, liens, hiring contractors for improvements, reviewing terms of your mortgage agreement, holding contractors' feet to the fire for non-performance on a job, ensuring warranty company stands behind their contract, advice on landlord-tenant laws, having letters written to parties with whom you're in a dispute, dealing with tenants not paying rent or help with eviction process, negotiating an investment partnership or protecting your interests. So there's all kinds of things with regards to that. And I'll give you another quick story. We're almost done here. So I've got a bunch of rental properties, and I've got a house over in Annapolis, Maryland, and my tenant moves out after 2 years and didn't pay the water bill. And so left me with an $800 bill. I pulled that $800 from his security deposit. 9 months later, I get a letter from a law firm in my mail. I open it up. He's suing me for the $800. So I called up my attorney with Legal Shield. I told him what was going on. He said, "Give me a copy of the lease and the letter. Let me handle this." And a couple of days later, he calls me up. He says, "We're all done." I said, "What do you mean we're all done? We're not going to court now?" He said, "No." See, here's what happened. My tenant was thinking I'm a business guy, and he was thinking, "Am I gonna spend a couple $1,000s in legal fees fighting him in court, or am I going to stroke him a check for 800, take the lesser of the two evils, and get him out of my hair?" That's what he was betting on. But my attorney told his attorney to tell him that my attorney's fees are paid for, free, and he's going to have to pay his attorney by the hour. You know what he did? He tucked his tail and ran. This builds a legal fortress around you that you didn't have otherwise. And so, again, when I looked at this as a business model, as a real estate agent, I saw this as an incredible additional stream of income. Filling in the blank for the income stream that is not available in the real estate brokerage world, which is that residual income. And look, a lot of real estate agents are hurting right now. there's good markets and there's bad markets. There's, right now, interest rates and lack of inventory and buyer brokerage issues. I mean, so many things that are causing a lot of agents some hurt. Some are hanging up their cleats. Some they've been in the business for a long time and they just can't stay anymore because they're not doing well enough and they could use the money. And so I've been speaking with a lot of brokers at sales meetings all across the country. Brokers bring us in because they see the value add for the clients, but they also want their agents to make a little extra money so they can stay licensed and they can use that income to do some real estate marketing to be able to thrive, to stay in the game, right? So what I would ask all of you that are listening in right now, what's your end game? Like most people don't begin with the end in mind. They just jump into a career and they're just living day to day. They're living in the present. But what's your future? Like, what is your end game in your real estate career? When are you going to be able to retire and how will you be able to retire? As I think back on it, because I've been with Legal Shield now for 26 years, okay, many of the agents that were selling houses back when I was in the 90s are still selling houses today. And it's not because they love real estate. Some of them for sure do, but some of them are getting, older and they don't necessarily want to be selling at this point in their life when they're in their 60s or 70s or 80s, but they have to. They have to keep selling. Why? It's a sales treadmill. They need the money. They didn't build up any assets that's paying them passive residual cash flow. So, here's the thing. This will not distract you because that is one question I've asked. I've had people ask, how do you do this without it taking your eye off the ball in real estate? It's a value add. You tell somebody about, hey, this is a mortgage company you might want to pick from, or this is a title company you might want to pick from, or heck, you tell people about great movies, great restaurants, great Netflix shows. It's as simple as that, right? It doesn't take long or much time or effort to let people know that this is available. And even outside of the real estate box, just friends and family and neighbors and people that you know from church or whatever. I mean, just be a good listener. People are always talking about life that's happening to them, and you just got to say you ought to use Legal Shield for that. So you'll be referring people all over the place for this. And so here's and one last thing. We will teach you word for word, step by step, how to do this. That's not. Don't worry about that right now. Just ask yourself: do you see the value in these services? Would you like to have another passive residual stream of income? Those are the two main questions. And does this feel good in your gut? That's, but we've got, we created a trifold brochure if you need some physical material that will actually, it's called Legal Protection for Home Buyers and Sellers. And it's got basically all the language that explains and sells Legal Shield to your client for you. We've got, like Jennifer said, an app where you can send them a video that explains it and they can push a button and buy it below. So you don't not necessarily need to be a Legal Shield expert. Just refer people to it. And so, again, how do you get paid? We're not going to get into full detail, but think about this. So let's say somebody gets a preferred legal plan for $37.95 and the Family ID Shield for the $34.95. Well, that simple referral, you're making anywhere from $80 up to over $400 wired into your account the next day, plus month after month, year after year, 5, 10, 20 years from now, a lifetime residual income stream for the life of them being on the service. That's pretty amazing. And so I hope that you are excited about offering Legal Shield and ID Shield to your clients, to your friends. I hope that you see the value in using it for yourself. And once you use it, believe me, you're going to be telling everybody about it. So here's what I would encourage you to do. Thank whoever invited you to hop on this Zoom here today. They thought enough of you to do that. And as we all know, as an agent, we're always wanting people to think of us. Okay. So they thought about you. You're probably their realtor. So nurture that relationship. I would encourage you to get the service. Once you use it, you're going to want to tell everybody about it. But also, look, come on board. Just get registered because you're going to tell people about this. And as long as you're registered ahead of time, when you do that, it'll get tracked back to you, get the upfront and the residual income from it. So again, we appreciate your time here today. Thank you so much for being here. Again, get back with whoever invited you, and we look forward to working with you. Have a great day.